welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Month of Trauma here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, guys, I'm checking out a film from 1994. That movie is The Class of Nuke Em High Part 3, The Good, the Bad, and the Subhumanoid. That's probably the stupidest subtitle I've ever heard on a film, but yeah, there it is, and wow, that just sounds awful. Now, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I really wish I could tell you details about this movie, but the trailer for this, which actually is on the DVD, doesn't tell you anything about the plot outside of the fact that the star of Nuke Em High 2, a man by the name of Brick Bronski, is playing at least 3 different characters in this film. I should mention that Bronski's acting sucks, and I'm not talking about that lovable, trauma brand of shit acting. I mean, he just flat out sucks. Just straight up, he cannot act. So to put him in 3 separate roles, that almost sounds absolutely disastrous. But this thing could very well be saved if we have decent, writing, and if the rest of the cast at least tries. I'm certainly hoping that the writing is better than what was in Nuke Em High 2, but then again, but you see, I honestly, guys, am already setting the bar incredibly low for me to say this thing's got to be better than Nuke Em High 2. Nuke Em High 2 sucked. But I also had my hopes dashed a little bit when I popped in the disc, you see. Because something, guys, which Troma does on a whole lot of their major DVDs is they will put an intro before the movie, which is done by Troma President Lloyd Kaufman, and the intro to this thing was so bad I had to skip past it. I've never skipped past a Troma DVD intro in my life. The very fact that this one was so lazy and unfunny that I had to skip past it could very well be a bad sign for the movie I am about to watch. Now, I'm still going to give it a chance. I'm still hoping for it to at least be halfway decent. But the only way I'm going to find out if there's any merit to this film at all is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out The Class of Nuke Em High 3, The Good, the Bad, and the Subhumanoid. So, the movie starts by basically altering the last 10 minutes of The Class of Nuke Em High 2. Well, at least that's kind of a positive, because the last 10 minutes of The Class of Nuke Em High 2 was shit, but I'm not really sure if this was actually much of a fucking improvement. It was still kind of stupid. You know, guys, I really was hoping for the writing to be better than the shit that was in Nuke Em High 2. It's not. This is far fucking worse. My God, there's another hour, maybe hour and 20 minutes of this shit? Jesus God. You know, guys, this honestly is going to sound completely wrong, but best actor in this entire film so far is Ron Jeremy. Yes, guys, a man who's mostly known for working porn has turned in the best performance in this film so far, and at this point, I am willing to say he's probably going to be the only one who put in any kind of effort at all in acting in this film. My God. Guys, once more, a porn star is the best actor in this fucking movie. Just process that, please. Okay, I completely understand that Adelaide and Dick are twins and all in this stupid movie. How the hell can people, though, not tell them apart when they have distinctly different colored hair? Adelaide is bald, Dick has black hair. How the fuck do you get those two confused? This, guys, is kind of sort of like a bit of an issue here with the writing, and I have a feeling it's building up to a rather important plot, point, and it's ultimately a stupid one because it doesn't fucking work. Well, guys, there is something officially worse than having to listen to Brick fucking Bronski attempt to act. And that is listening to Brick Bronski talk to himself over the fucking phone My god, man, this scene is almost painful. Okay, guys, I am going to ask this, and I'm genuinely serious about this. Why the fuck isn't this stupid thing finished? Finished yet? I mean, okay, I kind of sort of thought it was going to be bad. I wasn't expecting it to be fucking boring, okay? Because there's one thing, guys, which trauma films normally aren't, and that's fucking boring. Guess what? This fucker's dull as shit. Well, guys, that was the Class of Nuke Em High Part 3, The Good, the Bad, and the Subhumanoid. Let's shut that off. Jesus Christ. Wait a minute. Hold on. And it closes with that irritating theme to Nuke Em High, too. No, fuck you. No. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Sweet, gentle shit. Where the hell do I start? Okay. Let's start with the writing. I believe that the 7 writers on this were the same 7 who worked on Nuke Em High 2. And it kind of shows. Except, you know, guys, where I mentioned the biggest problem with Nuke Em High 2, biggest problem with Class of Nuke Em High 2 was its constant preaching about the evils of slavery and nuclear power and genetic engineering and just all these other stupid things that just constantly just hammering you with that goddamn message. This at least sort of dialed all of that back in like a big way, where it basically is now nuclear power is evil, corporations are evil, military is evil, because technically militaries and corporations are both basically the same thing, and nuclear power is a byproduct of corporations, thus all of them are evil because all of them are kind of sort of connected. At least that's kind of what they're trying to preach here. No, that isn't the big problem, because they once more were able to make that shit kind of subtle. No. The problem is the constant fourth wall breaking. Guys, I don't have a problem with a movie that wants to break the fourth wall as long as it's done well. And Troma has shown that they can do that very, very well. I've seen Toxic Avengers 2 and 3, and even the start of Toxic Avenger 4 kind of sort of hints that, yes, this is totally a fucking film, series, and those were all done in a rather interesting and funny way. They also were not the driving force behind the goddamn jokes. I swear to God, at least half of the dialogue in this goddamn movie is just them blatantly saying, yes, this is totally a movie. And the big reason why a whole lot of the characters from Nuke Em High 2 are not back is because the actors didn't want to come back. They actually say this right in the fucking film. The reason why the brand new Tromaville power plant happens to look like a sugar mill instead of a nuclear power plant is because it's cheaper to get stock footage of sugar mills. Again, that is an actual thing they mention in the fucking movie. They constantly talk about the closing credits coming up. Let's see here. Exactly how many fucking reels have passed since the last time we saw this fucking special effect. That's most of the writing, and it's all done in such a painful goddamned way that it takes what little humor this movie has that isn't them painfully trying to shatter the fourth wall, and renders almost all of that pointless, because you're gonna be just groaning at the shit jokes directly related to the fact that it's a movie. The very fact that it ends with, oh yes, and we also have to be thankful because coming soon is going to be Nuke Em High 4. Yeah, I'm kind of happy that they didn't make a Nuke Em High 4. Well, they kind of did. I'm going to cover that later on this month, though. But that, honestly, guys, is what most of the writing is this god-awful, overdone, forced, fourth wall breaking. And when they aren't doing that, then we have dialogue that is completely lifeless. Most of the dialogue doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Our story just does not work. I would like to ask right now, first of all, what the hell was the point in giving Brick Bronski 3 fucking roles, okay? I don't care that he has to play twins as well as the father of the twins. That all sounds like a fucking mistake because the man can't act. Perhaps maybe he would be able to act if you gave him dialogue that wasn't this shit. And not a single one of his characters has anything coming close to reasonable or interesting dialogue. In fact, there isn't a single character here who has any sort of dialogue I would say is decent. Which, considering the fact that that is something that Lloyd, Kaufman is good at doing, I'm going to assume that he wasn't amongst the writers who were in charge of dialogue, because he's one of the 7 writers. Lloyd Kaufman helped pen this, and it's probably one of the worst scripts Lloyd Kaufman has ever shat forth. And mind you guys, Kaufman normally can write incredibly well. Oh my god. Guys, the writing here is just boring more than anything else, because not only do we have jokes that are a complete misfire, not only do we have running fucking gags that were not funny the first time, and sure as shit are not funny the 15th time, such as when what's-his-face's girlfriend drools every single time she sees him, and of course they have to show drool by basically having her open up her mouth and just pour forth a shit ton of water every single time. It happens at least a dozen times. It wasn't funny the first time. Sure as shit wasn't funny the 12th time. So we have that going on. We have we do have the preaching, which is going to piss off a couple of people, because it also is kind of sort of like fucking fistedly forced in there, but at least it's not as prevalent as in Nuke Em High 2. Oh my god. Just guys, writing here is a complete and total disaster. The acting here really is not much better. I need to stress again, they gave the worst actor of Nuke Em High 2 3 goddamned roles to play, and he didn't play a single one of them well. Okay? There is a big reason why Nuke Em High 2 didn't have him as the primary focus and focused more on Lisa, Gay's character. That's because Lisa Gay can act. And that was also her best performance I have ever seen. Behold her worst performance I have ever seen. They give her very, very little to work with, so they actually have flip-flopped those two actors in terms of exactly how much screen time and dialogue they get, and what she is given is terrible, and she's not putting a whole lot of effort in, probably because she was probably doing this less honestly out of love of a good script and more just as a favor to Lloyd. I don't totally know though, so do not quote me on that. And the rest of our cast completely sucks, with the one lone exception being Ron Jeremy. I'm going to stress this again, guys. Ron Jeremy is known for working in porn, and I totally understand that he is one of the few porn actors who actually has gotten roles in proper films and has shown that he can act. But it still doesn't stop the fact that a porn star is the best actor you could fucking get for your movie. I should also mention that this actually is one of the earliest non-porn films that he worked in. So even honestly, before he broke out in slightly larger works than this, he was still out acting the entire goddamn cast. Oh, dude, it really just doesn't process right. Even though I totally know that Ron Jeremy can act, it just doesn't process that he's the best goddamn actor in the whole fucking movie. That just doesn't work for me. Anyway, the acting here is shit. Special effects. Well, that really, guys, special effects is probably the one bright spot in this entire film. The one genuinely bright spot in the whole movie has to be special effects. At least for most of it, because, okay, yes, we still have the typical stuff with Troma, where it's tons and tons of like bromo seltzer and super slime, and like the usual stuff that Troma just dumps onto all of their movies, and it all works really well. Mask work here is good. Makeup effects here are done really well. The only real problem I would have to be with the glowing arms on our twins. Because you couldn't just make their actual physical hand hand glow, so you have to have glowing plastic arms. The problem is that the hands are in this weird fucking like mannequin shape like this, and of course the hand is never able to move. So when you have say what in the hell was Adlai groping his fucking girlfriend with this, you know, like glowing plastic hand, you know, and the hand is just, you know, the hand like isn't moving at all. By the way, guys, it is very, very difficult to actually like move around your hand, actually try to do this and not flex a single finger. It just feels weird. But of course he had to do that, and he had to make it work, and it looked fucking stupid. It also doesn't help that the very first time that he actually takes his little plastic glowing hand and he jams it into the power plant's reactor core to fix it, because apparently he has the power to do that. You actually can see the hand you can see the hand that is holding onto the plastic hand as it's moving it into shot, which is just terribly, terribly cheap. Now beyond the idiotic plastic hands on our twins, everything else here is fine in terms of special effects. In fact, that once more is probably the best thing this movie's got in terms of anything, is that its special effects are decent. And plus, I guess I can also say this, camera work here is really good, and lighting here is totally solid. Dubbed in, you know, dialogue is shit, but that honestly is because that's kind of sort of a staple of trauma films, and I really wouldn't, you know, I really would not expect less. But I will say that this honestly is done far worse than most others when it comes to dubbing in dialogue. So this honestly is probably at the bottom of Troma's pile in terms of dubbing in dialogue. Ultimately, guys, can I recommend the Class of Nuke Em High 3? No. There is no fucking way. Guys, I really could not tell you between this and Nuke Em High 2 exactly which one is worse. I can just tell you, though, that both of them suck, and there's no way in hell I'm buying either of them on Blu-ray if and when they fucking come out. I am not wasting the space on my shelf for them, because they are some of the worst trauma films that Lloyd Kaufman has ever had a direct hand in working on. Jesus Christ. Now, the plus side is, guys, that I am going to be covering the Class of Nuke Em High. Well, actually, it's not the Class of Nuke Em High 4. It actually is. It's actually called Return to Nuke Em High. I'm going to be covering that a little bit later on this month. And with that, Lloyd Kaufman once more was in the fucking director's chair. Instead of giving it to this Eric, what the hell's this guy's name? Eric fucking Luziel. And letting him shit out a pair of sequels. At least now Kaufman's going to try to make it, you know, right with the newest entry in the Class of Nuke Em High series, and god damn it, I hope it's better than these. Now, the Class of Nuke Em High 3, The Good, the Bad, and the Subhumanoid, came off the Amazon wish list. The person who sent it in was Robert, and you guys please swing on over to Robert's, it is Robert's Amazon profile, and check out everything that he has written there. Robert, I thank you, because I had always wanted to see if any of the Nuke Em High sequels were, you know, good, and it was you who sent in all three of them. And so far, honestly, they have totally sucked. But I honestly would not have known that if you hadn't have sent them in. And with any hope, the final Nuke Em High film will actually be decent. Of course, I'm going to find that out a little later on this month. Oh my God. Okay. You know, when I sat down here and I was getting ready to watch a fucking trauma movie, I was expecting something at least a little bit decent. So, yeah, I'm going to go dig around in my trauma collection, see if I can find something better. Maybe I'll watch, no, wait, I think I've already watched that. Yes, I did watch that earlier this month. Shit, what the hell am I going to watch? I think I'm going to go try to find a copy of Surf Nazis Must, you know, Die, because I don't have a copy around here anymore. Maybe I'll find it on, like, Netflix or something. I'm going to go try to find that and watch that. Anyway, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.